So let me ask you again, how have they done? Are you better off? What has 2 years of one-party Democrat rule in Washington given us? Now let me state the obvious. Our economy is now in a recession. Here are the facts. Fact, our supply chains are collapsing. Our transportation system is completely dysfunctional. Air travel has never been more unpredictable. Fact, families go to the grocery store to find empty shelves. Necessities like baby formula have been impossible to find, which means many children can't get the nutrition that they need. If you can find what you need at the store, it costs more, a lot more. Food prices are up more than 13%, the highest increase ever. We're told again and again by Washington that it's all temporary. The historic spending binge of Joe Biden and his Democrat Congress has brought the greatest inflation crisis to this nation in generations. Democrats spent your money on wasteful projects, including millions on ski resorts and luxury hotels, and even spending $1 billion of hardworking taxpayer money on stimulus checks to violent criminals in prison. Yes, and they even sent one to the Boston bomber. This has only driven inflation higher. Here's what it means to the American people. For senior citizens, a lifetime of savings is being wiped out. Their 401ks are now 201ks. For our mid-career workers, wages are being ravaged. Young people cannot afford rent, not even to mention to buy. Mortgages are now out of reach. Families are barely able to make ends meet. Electricity and energy costs, they are consuming household budgets. Citizens are forced to make agonizing choices every single day just to pay the bills. You know, more than 20 million American households, that's about 1 in every 6 families, have fallen behind on the utility bills. The amount they owe has doubled since the beginning of the pandemic, and winter is coming. Fact, gas prices are 60% higher than what Joe Biden took office. He inherited energy independence from President Trump, but is now traveling the world begging foreign countries for energy to power our country. We have God-given American-made energy we need right here, right now. But Joe Biden has locked it away and raised the price of gas. Fact, real income. What you take home after inflation and taxes is lower now than when Joe Biden took office. Let me ask everyone this question. How many of you can afford to give up 1 month of your income? I bet not many. But if you've had a constant salary for the past year, you've had more than 1 month of your income taken away. Millions of Americans are falling backwards into poverty, not making progress. And the hardship does not end there. Because of the extreme soft-on-crime policies of Joe Biden and the defund police Democrat Party, our communities haven't been this dangerous in decades. You want the facts? Last year was the deadliest year in America in 20 years. That includes attacks on our police officers. And this year is no better. Democrat prosecutors and Democrat politicians have declared war on public safety. At our southern border, our safety isn't just at risk. Our national security has been compromised. Joe Biden, Nancy Pelosi, and the Democrat Congress have created the worst illegal immigration crisis in all the history of our country. They eliminated every successful policy put in place during the Trump administration and adopted a policy of releasing illegal immigrants by the millions into the United States. Our border is now wide open. Last fiscal year under Biden, there were nearly 1.5 million apprehensions in our southern border. Fact, that is a record. This year, Biden has already broken last year's record. Almost 2 million illegal immigrants were apprehended. That includes 66 individuals on the terrorist watch list. You have to ask this question. Why are those on a terrorist watch list coming to America, and what do they have planned for us? But it doesn't include the over 500,000 gotaways, or the countless more unknown gotaways slipping in completely undetected as our border agents are pulled off the line. Fact, the number of illegal immigrants who've crossed our border under Biden easily exceeds the population of dozens of states. Think about what this means for our healthcare system, our hospital system, our education system. And think about what a wide open border had meant for the lives of younger Americans. Criminal cartels are now in full control of our southern border. They decide who and what comes into our country, and that means record amounts of drugs flooding into our cities and towns. Every American city is now a border city. Fentanyl is now the leading cause of death for Americans between the ages of 18 and 45. Fact, Biden's open border policies are killing Americans. Fentanyl is poisoning and killing 300 Americans every single day. That is equivalent to a full airplane crash every single day in our country. Why is the White House not treating this like the crisis it is? Speaking of younger Americans, our children are suffering as a result of Democrat school shutdowns. In fact, according to a national test results just released today, the pandemic has now erased 20 years of progress in reading and math proficiency. It is no wonder only 28% of Americans have trust in our public schools. And in a giant payoff to our education universities that charge more but deliver less value, Biden unilaterally bailed out high-paid, white-collar workers by transferring $1 trillion in student loan. That debt is now being paid by either people who've paid off their loans or never borrowed to begin with. We are losing our safety, our prosperity, and our freedom. The Biden administration's heavy-handed COVID policies, including firing our military heroes and our first responders, have undermined our freedoms and destroyed public trust. And what do we have to show for it? More Americans died of COVID under President Biden than under President Trump. Our pain and suffering at home have been matched by humiliation abroad. 1 year ago, our country watched in horror as Biden's botched withdrawal in Afghanistan left 13 American service members dead and landed a lasting blow to America's prestige that will haunt us for generations to come. Without question, Biden's decision led to the greatest